Keep showing up. If no one invests in you, invest in yourself. If no one believes in you, believe in yourself. Even if you don't see the results right away, keep showing.
When it comes to success, there is rarely ever a time when luck comes into play. Hard work, however, always comes into play. Hard work does not offer a guarantee of success, but without it, there is a guarantee.
All right, hey TikTok, it's me, Sergeant Q, and I'm going to talk to you guys about this study that I've been doing in my Bible study. It's about God's timing, and it's called Kairos in Hebrew. It's K-A-I-R-O-S, Kairos, and it goes throughout the New Testament, and it's talking about the right time or the right place or the right season, that God creates the right time and place for us for different situations, how we really don't have control over these things that happen in our life, that God will create the right time and right place for things to happen, for things to transpire, for you to get that new job, for you to get that new house, for you to meet the love of your life, for you to start a ministry. Like, God creates the time and place for that. So it's a fascinating study on this word called Kairos. So follow for part 2. So part 2, Kairos, right time and place. We really have no control over that. God creates that. God creates that right time and place, that right timing. So what can we control? If we can't control the right time and place, what can we control? We can control that we are the right person. So this was not in the study. This is something that God revealed to me as I was going through this, that God creates the right time and place. And so we need to focus on being the right person, not making moves and setting these things up here and there. And I'm going to use this to get here and go there, but just focusing on being the right person, because you can be in the right place at the right time. But if you're not the right person, then you're lost. You're not going to get that opportunity. So focus on being the right person. So God sets up the right time and place, and our responsibility is to be the right person. Follow for part 3, and I'll tell you how you can do that. We talked about God's timing, right time and place, and then we talked about we need to focus on being the right person. So how do we focus on being the right person? Well, read the Bible and do what it says. Like, that's it. Pretty simple, right? But it's not easy. Simple, not easy. So I focus on doing a Bible study every day because I want to gain knowledge on how to be a better person and how to take the Bible and apply it to my life so I can be the right person. Now, I have 3 rules in my life, and they're very simple. I live my life to be honorable in all things. Rule 2, surround yourself with people of high integrity. And rule 3, if anybody asks you to violate rule 1, refer to rule 2. All right, follow for part 4, story time. 3 rules in my life, and they're very simple. I live my life to be honorable in all things. Rule 2, surround yourself with people of high integrity. And rule 3, if anybody asks you to violate rule 1, refer to rule 2. All right, follow for part 4, story time. All right, story time. So God's timing, Kairos, right place, right time, our job, focus on being the right person. So for the last 3 years, I've been focused on building the suicide prevention app. It's a vision that God gave me, and so I knew I was supposed to be doing it, and so I built it. A hospital system found it. We built a second version for them. They put it into a clinical trial. It had amazing results. 100% success with this thing. And so I've been just grinding and grinding and grinding, trying to get this in front of different hospital systems, get this in front of investors, build a team to launch this thing out across the nation. And I have just been beating my head against the wall. I have gotten nowhere, trying to make all these moves, make all these connections, just working. And I haven't really made much headway, to be honest. But, here comes the but God creates the time and the place. And so I just need to focus on being the right person. And so that's exactly what happened. I applied to this business entrepreneur. It's a Hispanic entrepreneur course that is at Stanford University. Now, honestly, I am not qualified for this program. There's all these things that you need to have to be qualified. I don't really meet any of these standards that we need to have. Like my business doesn't really have revenue because it's brand new, it's a startup. I haven't raised enough capital. Like all these benchmarks, I didn't hit any of them. So when I applied and they told me that, I was like, probably not going to get into this thing. I haven't raised enough capital. Like all these benchmarks, I didn't hit any of them. So when I applied and they told me that, I was like, probably not going to get into this thing. So I had my second interview. First interview was just about the business. Second interview was to get know more about me and my business plan. It's supposed to be an hour long. I get on the meeting and the guy immediately says, hey, it's supposed to be an hour, but probably only gonna take about 15, maybe 20 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, guess I didn't get in. So he starts off and he says, hey, we really like your business plan. And normally this interview is about getting to know who you are as a person and what are you gonna do in the community? How are you going to give back? That's what they wanted to know. How are you gonna give back to the community? They said, but we don't have to ask you that question, Aaron. We see how you live your life. We see what you do out in the community already, and you are exactly the person that we are looking for this program. I am exactly the person that they are looking for this program. Now, hundreds, if not thousands of people apply. They only pick 80 per cohort. I'm cohort number 13, and I'm exactly the person they were looking for. But not because I had a brilliant business plan, not because I had all the financial data in place, not because I had the book smart or the pedigree. It was because the way I was living my life. You see, God had created the right time and right place, and I was the right person because I read the Bible and I do what it says. So if that's you today and you're struggling right now with, gosh, I'm just working really hard at this and I can't make any headway, God's going to set up the right time and the right place for your breakthrough. You focus on being the right person and God will take care of the rest. All right, I'm Sergeant Q, and I hope that you're encouraged today. I love you guys, and share this out, man, and give somebody some encouragement. Hit them up. All right, Sergeant Q, out.
Send it.
I know everything will be alright. I'll be here waiting. I promise I'm changing. I just need time. I need time.
He's a fighter and part of my mental health plan.
All right, you guys, I've got a super busy day today, but I just thought of something and I wanted to share with you guys this mental health tip. Okay, so when I was younger, I used to drive concrete trucks for a company. And sometimes when you deliver to homeowners or commercial properties, you would spill some of that concrete onto the ground. Now, if you could get to that concrete within the first few hours, it's still malleable. It's very easy to clean up. You just shovel some of it up. You take a hose and you rinse it down. And there might be a little bit of residue left, but it's hardly noticeable and super easy to clean up. But if you left it there and let it get hard, man, it was super hard to clean up. You could still do it, but it took a lot more time and effort to do so. Well, when you experience trauma, the exact same thing happens. Those chemicals that are released in your brain, they coat those receptors and they cause them to close down and malfunction. So follow for part 2 to learn how to clean up that mental health crisis. All right, so when those chemicals in your brain are released, they coat that receptor, and so it makes the synapses malfunction, and they don't work like they're supposed to, right? But if you can get into therapy and you go early and you go often, so if you can get to a therapist within the first 6 months and start unpacking that trauma that you experienced, it's much easier to process through it and much easier to get back to normal and get that
get those chemicals to release that that receptor, and those synapses are going to work a lot better. Okay, so go to therapy early and go often. Within the first 6 months, you have a much better chance of processing through that easily. But if you wait for past 6 months, for a year, 10 years, 2 decades, you can still process through that, but it takes a lot more work. It's a lot harder to do. So go to therapy early, go often. Now get out there and make a difference in the world.
In my body, in my head, why won't somebody come and save me from this? Make it in. I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess